Bring in the noise, bring in the funk.
And that's what we're starting with, Corey. Bringing in the noise, bringing in the funk. I think I had us going on that. So, perfect.
Noise and the funk was brought.
Well, I think it's important that you do bring both, because otherwise there's an imbalance and the funk far outweighs the noise. And I don't know. Most people are their memories are tied to their sense of smell, and if you bring too much funk and not enough noise to distract them,
You have gone down a rabbit hole that.
Yeah, I should just leave. I should just leave it alone. Okay.
Just end the stream now.
Okay, really? Okay. Well, thanks for coming, everybody.
And spend 3 hours on this topic.
Okay.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about smells, particularly weird ones. That's another channel.
That's, I feel like I should be involved in that one too. As far as, funky smells go. Okay. Well, that's not what we are actually here to talk about tonight. Tonight we are talking about Call of Cthulhu, Massive Nyarlathotep. We are back. We've had a couple week break, or did we play? We played
2 weeks ago.
We played 2 weeks ago, but before that, before that, we had kind of a big break. So, our investigators landed in Point Said after investigating thoroughly the lands of England and discovering that although they don't know a ton about the cult and who all was involved in England, they do know that cultist activity in England is shipping mechanical parts, at the very least, to China, and that they're getting some of the artifacts that they're using in their goals, rights, whatever you would like to call it, from Egypt. And using the logic of, well, we're going to stop in Egypt anyway, they decided to disembark in Port Said, where they received a telegram with new information that was found in the personal effects of Erica Carlisle, who was deceased, that indicated that a Warren Bessart in Egypt had been communicating prior to the Carlisle expedition to her. Well, God, I'm not summarizing this well, but Warren Bessart communicated with Roger Carlisle, Erica Carlisle's brother, who was the leader of the expedition, that he had found many, many artifacts that might be of interest to him and the expedition while they were in Egypt. That he had got them from a dealer named Faraz Najjar. And the group was also aware that Faraz Najjar's shop may have been burglarized, destroyed, whatever. Or in some ways harmed. So they decided to defer their trip, or they knew they had, what did I say? You guys had 2 weeks? I think I said you had 2 weeks before the next ship was...
Was it 16 days?
16 days, yep. 16.
Oh, yeah, 2 weeks until the next ship.
Yep, okay. 2 weeks' time in Egypt before the next ship would be heading for parts east, notably Shanghai. And so they were planning to spend 2 weeks finding out as much as they can in Cairo before re-embarking towards China, where they know much of these goods are going that they discovered in England. They were in Port Said when we left and were headed towards Cairo, and I think the last thing I had dropped in the chat here was a list of hotels that were not awful, that you could potentially wire ahead to have sort of accommodations made for you. And I don't remember if we decided what you were actually going to do. You had talked about booking 2 places so you had a hidey hole.
Yeah, we booked the top 2.
Okay.
But that was what I have.
Shepherds and Semiramis.
Yeah.
Okay. So you have those, and you also came up with your new nom de guerres. So I think this is a perfectly good time for the players to introduce their investigator. themselves and their investigator. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your new alias, which we debuted in the last game. And I think I'm just going to follow clockwise from my left and start with Robin.
Oh, right. Well, I'm Robin. I'm playing someone who is called Daisy Ransom, but now she's going by Rosie Randolph because, it'll hopefully be easier for me to remember. My character is a nurse. She had been a nurse during the Great War, and during that time of like losing some of those soldiers who maybe she had formed some connections with, she became very interested in the thin veil between our world and the next. And from the very beginning, on her trip to Peru with these other investigators, Daisy continues to want to explore the unknown, the kind of metaphysical, and that's what's landing her in Egypt right now.
Okay, thanks. We'll move over, following the clock to Ed.
I'm Ed. I'm playing Professor Harmon Farwell, Professor of Archaeology from the University of Chicago, and I on sabbatical from teaching and getting some field experience, though it has taken me in a much different way than I had anticipated. I'm currently traveling under the alias of Oliver Martin, who is also listed as a professor at a small college in the Midwest, because I can't branch out that far.
I think we settled on Wheaton, right?
I believe that's true.
Yeah. All right, and continuing.
Well, really, I could say anything, and most people wouldn't know anything about.
No, yeah, you can make up anything, and in fact, in the early 20th century, if you named a town and a college, there probably was one. A lot of them failed in the early 20th century, which I think is going to happen again. Clyde, sorry, going to Dawson. Sorry, not Clyde.
I'm Daw. I am the enigma that is known as Clyde. Currently, now Carl, because Clyde's a really dumb name. Carl seems a lot more better in certain circumstances. You good?
Ow.
Give it a second.
Ow. Okay. Clyde's dumb. Carl seems a lot more better.
Veteran, mechanic, bad boy, some will call him, all-around jerk,
Vampire.
killer of people, orphan maker. I mean, Clyde at this point is
Goes on
gone.
and on.
Fat vampire.
Fat.
Fat vampire.
Fat looking vampire. That's a key one right there.
Lard fire.
Lord.
And that's all I have to say about that.
All right.
Is vamp meant to mean blood? Because I don't think lard fire works.
Oh, so it's vamp lard.
Vamp lard.
Maybe.
Vamp lard.
I don't know the Latin root of vampire, so I'm not sure.
Lardimir.
Larferatu.
Oh, Lord.
Moving over to
Goes for lard too.
Larferatu. Sorry, moving over to Corey.
I'm Corey. I'm playing Puritan Bottoms. He just goes by Purdy. He's also not a smart guy. And what he makes up, what he lacks in intelligence, he makes up in sheer violent inclination. He
Also charm.
Oh, and yeah, he's very charming. Like he only has two modes.
You're like Ted
and
Bundy.
I know, I was going to say, you sound like a classic
like a
abuser.
serial killer
Charm
and violence. Yeah.
Wait till we get to our final name.
Oh
You
no.
might see a surprise. Anyway, so he is, I think, unlike I guess a couple of us, was not involved in the war, intentionally avoided the war, and worked out west, and sort of was a little bit of an off-grid individual before there was grid, and he I don't know, he got involved because his aunt, who is definitely the person in his family he was closest to, and who she left him, or he when she passed away, he found a scrapbook of hers that was just filled with strange esoteria and weird cutout articles of things that she had encountered or read about in her lifetime. He is going under the name Colt McJunkin, which there was somehow I found that name. I didn't come up with it, but now I don't remember. So he's Colt McJunkin.
Have you actually met a Colt McJunkin like Chase McAlpine? Like,
no, Colt McJunkin came from. I think I googled. I want my son to be a cowboy. What should I name him? And that's what I got. It was on the list. I think that it was something like that. I want my child to be like. What do I name my child? And that's where
It's too bad that Colt doesn't really sound like a verb, because with Majunkin, it'd be funny if it was like a sentence.
Chase McJunkin. Yeah.
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 So, yeah.
Hi, I'm Colt Majunkin.
Oh, I'm not gonna get far tonight.
This is the mature audience warning label. This is how we get.
This is how we get that. That night clicked it when I set up the channel because I knew. So that like I'm good. Got in trouble for you. Like, I was just gonna say I try to bring up cloaca in every game I play now. So
only a matter of time before the cloaca gets involved.
There's gonna be a cosmic cloaca at the end of this adventure.
I might quit now then.
The cosmic cloaca.
I don't want to experience that even.
What egg is it?
Playing.
That sounds like a Marvel supervillain.
In fairness, it doesn't have to form an egg because sea cucumbers also have cloaca. I think they're the lowest form.
Oh my goodness.
Cloacal creatures.
Oh. Man, we learned so much on this channel. Science. All right.
I made the channel. For those of you who have joined, join our Discord if you haven't. There's a whole new channel for math and science now where you can talk.
I just disabled the join our Discord bot for no reason other than like.
I'll put up a link right now. Don't you worry.
Does that even work?
Disappointing to have a whole stream where that's the only person who talks.
Yeah. That and I was just sort of like, I don't know that I really want to. Like, as far as I'm concerned, I don't know what other people think, but like growing the channel through this is not actually what I want to do. Like, we'll just have people invite their friends in. Like, if people want to come in, let us know. Send us a message. Say, hey, we'd like to know more about your Discord. We'll invite you in. But I'm not gonna. Nah, it's not a need. Anyway, let's get to the game. So, our 4 investigators, having received this telegram from their contact in New York, whose name is Carlton Ramsey, he's sort of the Bosworth maybe even the Charlie to their Angels.
Isn't it Bosley?
You're right, it is Bosley. No, it's Bosley. You're correct. It is Bosley. And he sort of facilitates financially and then also tracking down information they may need or resources. He can find people that might, be able to assist them with skill sets they have, etc. If they telegram him, give him a certain amount of time, he might be able to find resources for them. But mostly he's kind of the money. And so when they need to rent rooms, he'll rent the rooms. If he thinks they're in danger and they need to rent 2 rooms, or if he agrees they're in danger, he will do that. There is a fairly large trust fund set up for them. However, it is not bottomless. And so that may come into play at some point. Carlton will let you know ahead of time that you guys are starting to deplete funds. He doesn't know how long this investigation will take, and neither do you. But he sent on that information about the Carlisle expedition and the fact that there were several people who had reached out to Roger Carlisle before he left, and that some of those artifacts seem similar to things that you guys have encountered in New York and in England, in London and Derby. And so I think I'll just pop that up in the... I sort of have the map up here kind of to have something nice to show on the screen here, but I'm going to pop open this handout here as a sort of... What was I hoping to show you? It was the information from... That wouldn't be London, that'd be Egypt. Clips and pictures. Okay, show players so you guys can see. So you guys saw this last time. This is the telegram he sent you that had information, and it was basically his transcription to the telegraph office of what that letter was from Warren Bessart to Roger Carlyle back in 1919. So you know a couple things. You know that there is an agent, you believe a Frenchman, named Warren Bessart, who may still be in Cairo for all you know, who was a person who assisted foreign money in acquiring goods, it seems, at least. And then Faraz Naraj, who is a dealer in antiquities, who is in Cairo. So we're going to start off with you guys. Corey, I wasn't sure. Did you want to obtain firearms? Is that because you had said that in the Discord? And I know Clyde wanted to obtain firearms as well.
Wanted to obtain narcotics, but no.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. So Purdy / Colt is not going to be obtaining narcotics at this time.
He got all the guns he needs.
Right here. Welcome to the gun show.
I have to go. I hear my mom calling.
But I think that Clyde / Carl wanted to obtain a rifle. And it is easy for you to do so because hunting and all of those things actually are not necessarily... I mean, not easy, but it isn't necessarily... It's nowhere near as difficult as it was in England. And so I am, however, going to ask for a almost never heretofore called for credit check.
Oh,
You can use one of your friends to do it for you if you think they might have more resources than you.
God, I got $9 in my pocket. You want that?
Well, let's see how much is a...
Well, Tony, I got 10.
I have actually in here, I built it out. I have the cost of rifles and stuff. Items? No, weapons. Rifles? Like 30-06?
Sure.
Back in the 20s would cost $75.
Don't suppose you could put it on layaway now, could you?
But a 45 Martini Henry rifle, does that make sense to you?
Oh my god, that's like Crimean War.
Yeah, that'd be $20.
It's a lot slower.
Your choices that I have in front of you are a 22 bolt action rifle, a 30 lever action carbine, 30-06 bolt action, 303 Lee Enfield, Martini Henry, 58 Springfield, and an elephant gun. I know you can't afford the elephant gun.
Can't afford the elephant gun.
Because I think that's like in the 20s was even, $400 in the 20s.
I guess without being physically able to see them, I can't really judge.
I don't know what they are either. I know I have a historical love of rifles, so...
Damage-wise,
if
that makes sense.
Yep. So, 1d8 plus 1d6 plus 3 is the first one I'm looking at, and I'm just... Oh, yeah, there's a wide variance. Okay.
Maybe if you put it like in a chat somewhere, I'll look at it later, and we'll worry about that.
Yeah,
if you discuss this need, Harmon does have a decent amount of walking around money. It could also roll a credit check for a lot of these things, but
I'm saying a pretty 15 for my credit rating, so...
I'm thinking the one that looks like the most damage right out of the gate is the Martini Henry.
It's a big thing.
What you said it's slow loading, but I don't know that the game mechanics care about that.
Yeah, a little bit, but not much. Yeah, Martini Henry is by far the most damage. 1d8 plus a 1d6. The other ones are 2d6.
Funny enough, I've been called Martini Henry.
Any other modifier on that? 1d8 plus 1d6.
1d8, 1d6 plus 3. And of course it has possibility of impale damage, like all rifles do.
That is much better than just the standard rifle that I'm used to. That sounds fun.
The elephant gun is 3d6 plus 4.
Yeah. It's a little excessive.
The Springfield is a 1d10 plus 4. Not as good, but... Yeah, the one that you don't want, I guess, is the 22 bolt action. That's the weakest one. The 30-06 isn't bad. Yeah. The best one is the Martini Enfield or Martini Henry, and then the Lee Enfield is a 2d6 plus 4.
That's the one I have coded here. Price range on that, I guess,
is $50.
Uh,
Martini Henry is actually cheaper.
Mm-hmm. But also, I guess the last question. Sorry, this is a shopping point.
No, that's okay.
Range.
Okay. So the
Springfield is going to shoot better than a Martini Henry.
Well,
in terms of distance.
I think you're probably right in realism, but in Call of Cthulhu terms, the Martini Henry will go 80 yards, and the Springfield will go 60.
They lie.
Yeah.
Martini Henry it is.
Okay.
It's better in every possible way.
And yet it costs more.
Game rules.
And even the Springfield has a higher malfunction rating. Like the Martini is 100 on the malfunction. You get to shoot the Springfield more rounds. Max uses per round is 4 for the Springfield, and it's 3 for the Martini Henry.
Per round?
Yeah, it says max uses per round.
But a round in this game is like 10 minutes, right?
It's pretty long. It says uses per round 1, max use. I got to look up firearms for the actual mechanics on that. I didn't actually read that very carefully. Also, you do have to load it each time you shoot, so that is pretty slow. The Lee Enfield has 10 in it. That's the big deal with the Lee Enfield, is you have 10 bullets in the magazine. Whereas the Martini rifle has 1 bullet per shot.
Sure it does.
So that's the bad part of that.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to make up your mind right now unless you want to buy it prior to getting to Cairo. We can go to Cairo and you can purchase it, but I think your chances of finding it in Port Said, I'm going to say I'm just making a keeper, moving the game along thing, are just as likely. Although that's probably not true.
Let's just worry about it later. But now I have the info about it.
Okay.
I mean, Clyde, if you're looking, you can buy it now.
I understand, but I'm more confused if I don't physically see the pamphlet in front of my face.
I need to.
Does that make sense?
I want to read. I want to read the owner's manual first.
I want the owner's manual is what I'm more concerned with. I don't want to jump the gun, as one would say. Does
the investigator book have all the stuff on the guns? Like,
I'll look it up.
Because if it does, it's all we have all of that in our Roll20. If you log into the Roll20 on the side, you should be able to look it up. But Is anybody else looking to buy any supplies prior to going to Cairo? Otherwise, we're going to pick it up with you guys checking into, and I'm going to just do it in the order that we put them in here. You guys are going to check into Shepherd's and have rooms reserved ready for you at Semiramis. You are expected when you arrive. There is...
And we were last time we talked about having to hire a porter or whatever. I don't remember the term you used.
Drogoman. I will type it in here. Can't remember if it's a man or a mon. Drogoman. Dragomen. And these are people who speak a decent amount of whatever language it is that you speak, as they hire themselves out. So some are proficient in French and English, as well as Arabic or Coptic. And some are proficient in more of one or the other. But you would be able to find someone who is able to speak English and translate for you. You are aware, particularly Harmon, having been on digs before, that this is a very predatory sort of market. Like, there are lots of people who, confuse the foreigners, take a bit off the top, negotiate not in your favor, taking a kickback from the vendor afterwards. So you know that, and some of whom are just downright going to lead you into an alley to be robbed. So you know that this is a somewhat dicey proposition, but you also know if you are not a fluent Arabic speaker, and not many speak Coptic as well, but you could maybe get around with a little Coptic, that you're going to have a rough go. So, but you don't need a dragoman right at the moment because you are in a hotel that caters to foreigners from the West. There are lots of tips expected. You guys are aware of this and make them appropriate. I'm not going to get into the weeds of that, but you're beginning to see this is going to be a cash up front type of deal right out of the gate. So if you are finding yourself short of pocket cash, we can actually do a bit where you guys can get some money wired to you, and just remembering, and I think Harmon could definitely warn people that pickpockets are aplenty. So be aware in large crowds that perhaps things will go missing.
Maybe it's not a good idea to take large sums with us or everything we've got all at once. Is that what you're saying, Harmon?
Just a bit of spending, bit of spending money for basic needs.
Right, that makes sense.
You're shown to your rooms. I don't think we've established a day and time for this. I think we said you were, 2 weeks at sea? Does that sound right? So I think we're now looking at April. Like, if we get our calendar set here, it was like March 7th or 8th when you were in Derby. It was like a week after the Day of the Woman. So, March 8th, and then a couple days from there. So I'm going to say it's now March 25th. I will put that in the chat. Oh, am I wrong?
I wrote March 28th.
Okay.
As our date.
Perfect.
I could be completely wrong.
Nope. March 28th is the date. That's what we're going with. So, I'm putting it into our chat. March 28th is date of game start. Okay. that's in our Discord, but I'm going to also put it in this one. Nope, 1925. Okay. Man, almost 100 years ago. Okay, so anything you guys want to do? I would also say that it's late afternoon by the time you arrive.
Another name written down in my notes, Nigel Wharif, a newspaper man at the Cairo Bulletin that might have more information about the Curios and Carlyle's stay in Cairo.
You were given that information from Carlton Ramsey, that he was potentially a contact for you as the friendliest newspaper person in town, may have information about Jackson Elias, not completely certain, but might. But he is
had pretty good luck with newspapermen before.
The Cairo.
Well, none of them have tried to kill us.
Exactly, and that's not true of everyone who's owned a shop. We've had people who own shops try to kill us. So
we've yet to make a mortal enemy of a newspaperman.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Paul.
Yes.
Is there the like, for instance, the telegram that you just sent up to us? So I don't see that in the journal. Is it possible that I don't know how Foundry works, so is it possible you hid or you have not revealed to us Egypt items?
That's possible, but I wouldn't
I don't
want.
know
Yeah, I think if I revealed all Egypt items to you.
No, I'm just curious because I don't even see, like, I see London items and New York items, and there's nothing for Egypt, so I'm assuming this one sits under Egypt somehow.
Let's see what happens. On your guys' honor, I'm just going to say all players can observe Egypt items, and let's see what you guys can see, because I have no idea.
Yep.
Has anything changed?
Nothing has changed.
No, but I might need to refresh.
Yeah.
To get access.
Nothing seems to have changed for me.
Did you
and
try
it says
refreshing?
the game is paused.
Yeah.
Well, Egypt hasn't disappeared. I see
The
clips and
pause shouldn't
pictures.
matter.
Oh, okay. I didn't know.
I just gave you
Egypt
guys.
is there after refreshing.
And there's some stuff that I'm not going to pay
Okay,
much attention to.
you can see a bunch of stuff that I haven't shown you before.
I see like 6 or 7 items.
Yep, that's too much.
And so I just closed.
All right, configure.
Did you see it in the journal? Oh, now I see it. Okay, yeah. Now I see the folder named Egypt items.
All right, you guys should be able to see both Egypt items and clips and pictures as folders and subfolders.
Yeah.
And then,
but it still shows a lot of things in
A bunch of stuff, yeah.
Yeah, it shows more than you should see. Yeah, okay. So I will
Because
put.
right now we've only gotten the 2 telegrams, correct?
All right, now I just changed you to limited. Did that change anything?
Now I don't see Egypt at all.
Yeah, it went away.
All right.
It's not a big deal. We can. I just wanted to point that out too. We can move on. And
Yeah,
we'll figure it out.
Let's figure it out off game. Because I do want you guys to be able to get in there and look at stuff as you want to. Part of the thing I like about Forge is you guys can log in whenever you want and look at stuff. But I have to get those permissions configured correctly. So I'll get that sorted. So you guys are in your hotel. You are talking about Nigel Wasif of the Cairo Bulletin. Anything else that you wish to discuss or things you're thinking about doing? Cairo is huge. Like I said, the maps are not like the city map of Cairo does not have individual streets necessarily listed on them. Cairo has grown. It has doubled in size in the last 20 years. Since 1905 to 1925, it has doubled in size. And so lots of things are not kept track of. There are whole sections of new development that there's no necessarily like building code authority or anything like that. So these buildings just go up and streets are named, and there's no real authority keeping track of that or mapping it. Local precincts, police areas do tend to know a little bit about those areas, and so they pop up where they're become populated areas. But that too is an organic process. So the city is very much organic feeling and not necessarily looking like a planned grid like you would maybe see in a modern European or American city or East Asian. I don't have any dimensions set up on this map, so.
No, don't. I'm trying to like. Never mind. Just ignore me.
Is it really off from your knowledge of Cairo?
I have no knowledge of Cairo except probably what you guys have.
Oh, okay.
So, no, I'm trying to remember how to manipulate the map. That's all.
Okay. All right. So, anything you guys want to do? Otherwise, the night will pass. Day breaks. There's no necessarily room service per se. So, you could go down to a small restaurant within the hotel, or go see the concierge. Harmon would not be. This would, as Ed sort of described, this is Harmon's. This is where Harmon comes out of his shell, kind of thing. This is not his first time being in the Middle East by any means, and certainly knows that you have to get a guide and how to get a guide and all of those things. This would not be something that would be foreign to him.
Right. So if any of you feel confident in reading people, that would be very helpful in procuring our guide.
See how trustworthy they are, right? So they don't shank us in the alley?
That would be something to be avoided.
Yes, I think we should all scrutinize them and maybe send Purdy out. He's an intimidating presence.
Well, apart from that, he's good with people.
Absolutely.
Hey, I hear there's a great bar. We're in 2 hotels, or we're all. I apologize, I don't remember if we answered that question.
I don't know if you split up or not. You're all in one.
Yep. Okay. Mm-hmm. So one of the 2 hotels Corey happens to know was like a center of diplomatic love in Cairo. It's one of the favorite places there. So they have a very good bar.
Which one is that?
What Purdy knows.
Is it somebody?
It's one of the 2 we picked. I'll look it up 1 second. It's
Shepherds or Semiramis? Shepherds. Yeah. That's the one you're staying in. So there's a very good bar in Shepherds.
That's where all the military attaches. Everyone went there.
Okay.
Great. Well, probably a good place to find a guide then as well.
Yeah. Hey, it might be. And as it happens, you may thrive in the Middle East, Professor, but I thrive at a bar.
I'm not sure I'd call it thriving, but yes. Excellent.
So the 2 of us will take over this town by the end of the night.
That's forward-looking.
Forward-looking is good.
We head down at least to the bar to start figuring out what to do.
Okay, so this is in the evening. Are you guys doing this the evening that you arrive, or are you guys waiting until morning? Because, I don't know if you're day drinking or... you can do either way.
Night day drinking.
Okay.
The professor made the mistake of going drinking with Purdy. I just want to say this first.
Okay.
And it's not going to end well.
So we'll say this is the night you arrive. You 2 go down to the hotel bar. What are Daisy/Rosie and Clyde/Carl doing?
I feel I have a fairly good read on people. Okay. Maybe I could go down and sit. Well, Clyde or Carl, would you like to go down and sit at the bar and we can stare at the people that they're talking to? Get a good read off of them?
Considering my job so to stare at people and judge them severely, I'm fine with that too.
Awesome. We'll go people watch.
All right. So the way I'm understanding this is you guys are going into the bar, and Harmon / Oliver and Purdy / because I'm saying this to get the names in my head / Colt are going to be kind of chatting up some folk, perhaps.
We're gonna be right up at the bar, chatting up everyone we can see.
And then the other group, Daisy / Rosie and Clyde / Carl, are going to be watching from afar, kind of scrutinizing the folk that you talk to.
See if we get any good. Yes.
Perfect.
Good vibes.
All right. So much like this is just a treat. I have no idea if this is a treat. I think England would be far more easy to get any kind of drinks you want than a country that's national religion is Islam.
Nope. Absolutely the opposite.
It's the opposite? Okay.
The Islamic revolution has not happened. Quite liberal.
Is it really? Okay.
Yep. Quite liberal.
Okay. Perfect.
Particularly in this bar would definitely be an expat bar. Is it like?
Okay, so you are not seeing a bunch of Egyptians in this bar. You are seeing a bunch of
but there's definitely a high percentage of people who are not Egyptian.
Wonderful. Oh, well, not wonderful. I mean, but just so I get the idea of what's going on in this place.
This would definitely be a place that, like, a nexus for journalists. This would be all like the movers and shakers. It would not be weird to run into someone here.
All right, so
and I just happen to know this bar. There probably are others, but I just happen to know because
this is great. I love it. All right, so
well, we should
go.
If, as you say, there so many people frequent this. We might even ask if they know of this Nigel Wasser. Maybe he's about.
Hey, that's a good idea.
Wouldn't be bad to meet him in a social setting first.
I mean, yeah, get him drunk and see what he knows.
Well, then you could become his best friend, and then we the world's our oyster.
Yeah. I'm a little, I'm not a great best friend, but I'll see what I can do.
Yes, but he doesn't know that, does he?
Yeah, but don't worry. We'll get this. We'll get this settled.
So the bartender comes up and asks for orders from you. You guys make orders. I'm assuming. And are you inquiring about anybody?
Our first order of business was to hire someone to show us around, right?
A drugaman.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll be like, hey barman.
Yes.
So we're new in town,
yes,
and we're just trying to get the lay of land here. I'm just a cowpoke from way over in America, and this is my friend the professor. He's the smart one, but neither of us know the city very well, and we're wondering if there's anyone you could point out that might be good with some of the showing the good stuff around town.
Every fiber in my being wants to go. And those two over there, is that one the captain and Marianne, along with the professor? And anyway, sorry, it's so bad. I shouldn't have done it. Sorry. Go ahead, Ed.
And someone who speaks the language would be helpful. I'm sure you know a few drugamen about who would be up to the task. Your recommendation might be helpful.
As it turns out, I don't actually handle that very much, but I can certainly go speak with the concierge, and I will get you your drinks, and I will ask him to come see you here at the bar.
I appreciate that. If it's too much trouble, we can always walk over there. No. You just let us know.
Not at all. And you look, and there are two other bartenders here, and because I'm now picturing almost like an officers club kind of situation here, where there's just lots of people, and there are more than one bartender at this bar, and there are even probably people with the cigarette caddy kind of thing going around, and just sort of picturing a 1920s, like lots of ferns and brass and like a TGI Fridays, but before it was a TGI Friday. And so then he's gonna get you your drinks, and ask you if you want to start a tab, have it billed to your room.
Oh, into the room would be fine.
Excellent. And I'll take your information down, and then I will go see to the concierge. And he goes and leaves. Anything? Did you want to ask after anybody else?
Oh, why don't we take a moment or two to get a read, sort of look around.
All four of you can go ahead and tell me how you want to be scanning the crowd, and if you have a skill check in mind that you want to be using, explain how you want to use that skill to find out information about what's happening in this bar.
I actually am looking for the academics. This is a hotbed of archaeology. There's somebody around here who speaks my language, so I would like to roll archaeology to get that. Can I do that?
Sure, but I'm going to go for, on that one, since you're trying to get the sense of somebody's an archaeologist and using an archaeology skill, I'm going to make it a hard call on that.
Well, I don't want to limit it to necessarily to archaeologists. I'm looking for the academics. That's just my academic skill.
I would let you go with intelligence if you think that works.
But I can't put a check mark in that.
Oh, yeah, that does suck.
Wow.
And now we know what it's all coming down to. If you can use a psychology, you can use I'll let you try I just don't know how that improves your archaeology skill.
No, you're right. It would. I didn't think of that side of it.
But any kind of psychology or spot hidden, I would go for.
Maybe I'll just do the like a. Well, there's education, which
Sure.
might actually be better than intelligence.
Yes.
Still doesn't get a check mark.
No,
But
I'll let you roll it. But yeah, you're right. You can't improve it this way.
that's
So
fine.
that's a success. I'm going to actually hold off on telling. I'm going to say you find somebody, but I'm going to hold off on describing who you find until everybody goes through. So because
Sure.
there might be double ups. So, who's got something they want to try?
I do.
Okay.
Daisy's just going to be looking for tells, to see like people who might be eyeing up others from a distance, or like I'm thinking more the psychology route, but like just kind of seeing if anyone has any nervous habits or is doing anything that might seem suspicious. So
Easy should be trying to read their auras.
well, I mean, in a way, that's kind of how she does it. She doesn't know auras necessarily, but trying to get the vibe, like, on who seems suspicious or not. So it's a very intuitive process of, like, is that person sitting alone giving glances in a way that they shouldn't, or, maybe drumming their fingers, or, playing with their hair, just those kind of things.
You got it. Okay.
So psychology, okay?
Your psychology will work just fine.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah,
sure.
yeah, looking for what she thinks is the bad vibes.
Nice.
Oh. So, I'm going to describe this bit, and then I'll get on to a deeper dive into it. As Harmon is scanning the room, he alights on a person sitting in the corner of the room, sort of shaggy blonde hair, looks a little unkempt, is sort of over-stirring his drink, and you alight on the same person. They're sitting there drinking alone, and yet they keep looking up from their glass almost hopefully. What Harmon sees on this person is somebody who is still wearing their dig clothes. What you see is a person who is nervous being alone, but also with a degree of hope springs anew.
So do I feel overall like does he have a good aura? Good vibes? I mean, I know he's nervous,
I'm going to
but...
give you a vibe on the 2 stars there. The vibe is this person's on the cusp of desperation. And goodness doesn't always come out of desperation.
Right.
That's the vibe you get.
Okay.
All right. Corey specifically, do you wish to try to look around? But does Purdy, Colt, wish to be looking around, getting it while you're waiting for the concierge to come back?
Colt's gonna look for the biggest, loudest, drunkest group.
Okay.
And he's going to sidle up next to them and try to be the life of the party.
Okay. It's a bunch of British officers drinking gin.
Perfect.
Okay. And they are bragging about how, they're actually talking about college days and their sexual conquests.
Perfect.
All right. It's a lot of talk of shoe leather, and it's really hard to know why. But maybe not. Okay. And so you sidle up to them, and what is Clyde/Kurt doing? What do you...
Carl.
Carl.
Oh, this Kurt fellow you're speaking
Carl.
of.
Yeah.
Carl is more better, not Kurt.
Kurt.
Better name than Kurt.
Carl,
Much better.
Carl. Yeah, I keep trying to steal all of Dawson's names. So I was playing as me half the time last night. Sorry.
Picture he'd be like, just leaning back in his chair, just the whiskey in hand, and he's gonna play a little game to himself where he just looks at people and says, just based on how they look, that man over there, he probably ate some very bad fish the other day, and he has severe diarrhea right now. That lady over there, she just got dumped, just based on just how they look.
Okay.
Are you sharing any of this with me, or is this all in your head?
Oh, he's absolutely bothering you. It's like,
Awesome.
hey,
Okay.
that one right there, I think he just finished art school.
I love playing that game.
What makes you say that? Is it the inky colors on his hands, or the
No, just look at his pants.
he's wearing?
Just look at his pants. It's a mismatch of different colors, and I don't know. Maybe this is very psychological if you really think about it. Maybe.
Look around and see if you can spot the person who most recently pooped their pants.
Well, what skill do you...
His hand looks. His finger points straight to Purdy.
There was drinking involved.
As for what skill, I got no clue.
a psychology, probably.
Excellent. I can do that. Kind of. I have lost connection. This is suboptimal.
Oh, no.
Suboptimal. I like that. I should use that word more often in frustration. It might make me laugh and not be as frustrated.
Psychology, we say. I have a number in that. Bup-tup.
Oh. So, Clyde is successfully entertaining Daisy with that person there's wife just left them, and that person there missed the bus this morning, and that person there is still regretting not, going for that job they wanted, whatever.
I think it's cholera, actually. I mean, I don't know if it's that.
Nasty thing.
Yeah.
All right. So, but as Rosie is getting her ear bent by Carl about some of these fun stories that Carl's yarning on with each of these people, Daisy sees this person. I will put a picture up. And this is the same person that Oliver saw. Pretty sure I have this guy already. Did I not make a thing for him? I did. Where? I didn't make a picture for this guy.
Hey, Daisy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Pick an ideal job for me. What would you think it would be?
An ideal job for you?
Just a job. Like, we see me for the first time. What do you think I would be doing?
Flying an airplane.
Oh, that would be a fantastic idea. Well, I already told you my desires for that. But come,
Yes,
just
but
from
I can see the scarf and everything just really makes it seem... You want me to pick a different one?
let's get rid of the scarf. He just takes off the scarf. He puts it to the side.
Ooh, what does his neck look like?
Standard neck, except there's a slight, graze mark on his left side.
So without the
I
scarf.
thought it'd be...
A chauffeur?
Chauffeur. What makes you think that?
I don't know. You look good in a cap and a uniform.
They didn't make one for this guy. I'm sorry, there's no picture for this guy. I'm like, why did I miss this? I did all the Egypt stuff all at the same time, and I'm like looking, and I'm like, they did not.
Don't you worry, I made one on the map.
Okay, yeah.
Perfect well.
He's very, very jaundiced. He's
really skinny.
He's got liver problems, and his arms. One arm is really short.
Mm-hmm.
His name's Dawson.
Oh,
Just
apparently.
have to run with it.
I can't draw. What is this?
There's actually a picture of this guy in the book, but he doesn't have like a nice. Oh, he's got one right here. What the hell? 1 second. If you can, hey Clyde, one more time.
I was just going to
All
say,
right,
I'm very
hey,
good
Daisy.
at listening as well. So you could sit in the front and drive and just pick up on all kinds of information that the people that you're driving around would share. I think
Smack
you'd be
Purdy
good.
on the arm and say, "It's Carl right now."
Hey, Carl.
Yeah.
Hey, have you ever heard? How do you kill a blue elephant?
Blue elephants?
Yeah. I'm talking to a guy over there. He was telling me how you kill a blue elephant. You ever hear this stuff?
He's gonna just take a large swig of his whiskey. No, please, keep going.
You kill him with a blue elephant gun.
A blue elephant gun.
Yeah, but then he went on and told me the story about this pink elephant. And you wouldn't believe how you kill a pink elephant.
Is it with a pink elephant gun?
No, stupid. You hold its nose until it turns blue, and then you shoot it with the blue elephant gun.
Hear an actual chuckle from Carl for once.
I learned that from my 3rd grade class.
Aw.
I have a joke about an elephant.
What's that?
Do you know how to catch an elephant?
No, never tried.
You dig a deep hole, and you fill it with burnt wood, and then you surround it with peas.
Peas?
Yeah.
Like
yes.
snap peas?
Yeah, sure. And
Why?
then when the elephant stops to take a pee, you kick him in the ash hole.
Oh no.
That's from the 3rd grade class.
No, that was popular in the college though.
If there was any audience
Hardship.
right now, they would have to turn on a mature audience filter.
I mean, Rosie, now it's your turn.
You have a joke about an elephant?
I don't know any jokes, sorry. Not especially about elephants.
Probably for the
Oh, wait,
best.
maybe. What do you get when you cross an elephant and a rhinoceros? Elephino. That's the only one I know.
All right, this is so dumb just to get this little picture. But here we go. Van Huvelen, and let me upload this photo, and then we'll be good. Sorry, I made it sound like that was going to be really quick, and it's not.
Hey, we have more than class here.
And Carl hasn't told an elephant joke.
Fine if I must. So this elephant recently got a divorce with his wife. Very down about it, he decides to head to the bar. Goes to the bartender, asks for a rum and coke. The bartender asks him, "Why the long face?" And he simply says, "I don't know, I was born with it."
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Well, that's a picture.
You meet a lot of dates that way with that joke?
Would you believe me if I haven't been on one?
Oh, Carl.
What? I've been busy.
Oh, Carl.
So, what you see is this blonde man with slightly curly, kind of tousled hair. He's wearing wire-rimmed circular spectacles. Has sort of a shitty beard is the best way I can put it. It's the drawing here is like this man hasn't shaved in a while, and yet it's still not coming in. And so he looks a little unkempt, but he has a bit of money on him. Daisy, with your role, the thing I should have brought up a little bit earlier is it's not just that he's nervous and desperate. You get the sense looking at him physically, this man has a problem with alcohol. So
I know that look well.
yes. So, and he is furtively glancing around the bar, and he's nursing the hell out of a straight whiskey. Before you guys tell me what you're going to do with, well, actually, tell me what you're going to do with them, and then I'm going to switch over to Colt and the English officers, and I want to know what Clyde's planning to do.
So you said he looked like he's wearing dig clothes.
Yes.
Do they look like they're? All right, and I'm getting an image that they might be filthy, not from a dig, but because he hasn't changed them.
Yes, he hasn't recently been working.
Like Harmon's wearing dig clothes. He hasn't been on a dig yet, but they're like still pressed and neat. And so at the end of today, even if I went to a dig, they'd still look like they started the day pressed and neat. His don't.
Right.
Is the feeling I'm getting. He looks like those need to be cleaned real bad.
I would say that you get the sense that they're not filthy, or he wouldn't have gotten into the bar. Maybe this is the best clothes he has, and yet you can tell that he's not actively working currently.
Okay.
In the field.
They're not the right kind of dirty.
Right. But somebody here knew him, gave him a drink. Okay, so anything that Colt is saying, or is he just listening to these guys share stories of their times?
I mean, if they were strictly, if none of them asked, like, what are you doing here? Right?
Every once in a while you get a furtive glance, and then when a break in the story finally occurs to say, oh, and I'm sorry, we haven't made your acquaintance.
Is amongst our group, is there anyone near us?
The bar's not
near. The
bar's not like empty, so relatively speaking, you've got a little bit of a buffer, but it's not like speaking freely is going to happen kind of thing.
I mean, is anyone of the other player characters?
Oh, okay. Let's do this. I don't have a map for this because I'm winging it. So
no, don't worry. It's a very long bar, very busy historically. It was called the Long Bar.
Okay.
So
cool.
I would say Daisy isn't, because my whole intention when I came down was to watch what you were doing from a little bit of a distance so I could observe people better. So even though we just did the whole "Hey Clyde" joke telling thing, I don't envision Daisy sitting close to you, Colt.
I think Clyde and Rosie are still sitting next to each other, right? Like Rosie has not gotten up or anything.
Yeah.
No, okay.
I assume myself is distracting here to my fullest capabilities.
Okay. And then
with his wonderful jokes.
And Harmon / Oliver is now alone because
you didn't follow me over as what
I'm assuming. Oh,
did not.
Okay. Because the concierge is supposed to come back.
Yeah, and I didn't. I don't think I was quite aware that you were wandering off for more than a moment.
So,
in fairness, Purdy probably also didn't know that.
That's fair.
So I think I would say something like, "Hey, I'm on a little bit of a mission here. I'm trying to investigate a bunch of weird murders that's going on around, and so I would make the story enough interesting to hook their interest, and maybe drop a fact or two. Maybe say the Carlisle expedition, which they would probably know because they're British.
Although the Carlisle
I
expedition was predominantly American.
But the Carlisle Institute was.
Penhue Foundation.
Penhue.
Sorry, got it.
Okay, so give me.
My goal is to say, hey, drop a few names. We are sort of following this Carlisle expedition, and I'm going to say I'm not going to say we.
Yeah.
I'm following this Carlisle expedition, weird murders that are happening, and Penhue Foundation. I'll drop these names to see if anyone bites. I'm not going to give them any details about anything that is known that wouldn't be in a newspaper.
And your goal is to see is to gain what from that? I just because I'm wondering
Just
what I want to see.
If anyone was like, weird murders happened here too, or like, hey, someone was just here for the Penhue Foundation, like that sort of.
Gotcha. Okay, so as you're talking, they're all sort of leaning in, and they find you fascinating, because you're not talking like, and I always pronounce this wrong, an adjutant, or any American diplomat that they've come across. And I think you had even said I think the book even says the American consular state service was not huge in Egypt in the 20s.
In Cairo would have been, but over in Port Said.
But in Cairo there'd be something, right? And so one of them will finally, after, wow, sounds fascinating. You're gonna want to talk over with, and he's gonna point over, and sitting in sort of a darkened corner. You're gonna be pointed out to a British officer in full uniform, speaking with a very well dressed, and I would say just sort of clearly comfortable, clearly, he's not spending a lot of time in the sun, and has a lot of weight, but not because he's young. He's just sort of, I'm trying to get this idea. This is a person who is very comfortable in their life. Okay. And he is an Egyptian man, and he is sitting across, and they are clearly having a private conversation. And those are the sort of stories that Mr. and I'm blanking on name. Those are the sort of things that Nigel is somewhat interested in.
Wait, that's the name we already know, right?
Nigel Wassef, yes. Captain speaking with him right now.
Oh, you know what? I think there's no time like the present then. My friend, I am going to come back here in, a couple minutes and tell you guys some stories about my antics that are just going to make you guys wish you never went to college. I'll slap him on the back hard so he feels it, and then I will just head right over.
And as soon as that guy coughs up a little bit of whatever he was drinking, the other guys all laugh at him and like, "Hi, Francis," and then they just go back to telling stories.
Terrible for Francis. I've been on the receiving end of that.
At this point, the concierge walks in with the bartender and is brought over to you, Oliver. And I'm sorry, you are. I was told you were looking for a dragoman.
Yes, that's correct. Someone who can show us about, do a bit of translating, that sort of thing.
Yes, of course. We are rather, as you may or may not know, we vet all of the dragomen, and anyone that we make a recommendation to you has been vetted thoroughly by the hotel. Unfortunately, we've had a bit of run on them recently, and I can only guarantee the services of one dragoman for the morning tomorrow. He may or may not have someone he would recommend to you if you need somebody for a little bit longer than a few hours, but I'm afraid he is booked as of noon tomorrow.
The start's better than nothing, isn't it?
Yes, of course. His rates, I believe, are reasonable. They're not, because he's giving a cut to the hotel, and you know that. But sorry, I'm flipping back and forth. And so, yes, Mr. Naziz will be available for you, say 7 a.m. tomorrow.
Sounds wonderful.
All right.
And what is the daily rate?
He's going to give you something that is like, I don't know. I could go into what the currency is, but I'm going to say like
Ridiculous.
It's going to be high, but not outrageous to the point of you would know that it's on the high end, but it's not. They're not gutting you beyond what they think they can get. They're going to the highest end of what they think they can get.
Right. Can I try to haggle him a little?
Yeah, for sure.
What's the check for that?
I would say either fast talk or charm, depending on how you want to characterize it.
Well, I'm terrible at both. I'm certainly not trying to like fast talk. I'm really just trying to charm him, I think. So I'll give it a shot.
Or persuade, if it's rational. If you're trying to be rational about it.
I'm terrible at all of these things. We'll just try to be charming.
Okay. Be great to get a bonus, right?
Hey!
Did you get it? All right.
did,
Well, yeah, we'll give it to you. And you can put a check in charm. So yes,
It seems a little steep, and he's not booked for the morning. We could give him some work, and of course you come out ahead on that as well.
He sort of gives you a little wink, and the charm check works. He finds you charming. Of course, sir. We'll waive our normal fee, and I'm certain we can come to an agreement. And he comes down like 10% into sort of the more reasonable era.
Excellent. And shall I pay that in advance to you? Will you take care of that?
Well, we can say that's part of the charm. That if you pay it in advance, then. And so, oh yes, certainly that yes, we can of course give you a discount for that, and so you come out a little bit ahead.
Yeah,
on that.
I'll just pay it.
Okay.
In advance.
Perfect. All right, so you make a spot hidden check for me, Oliver. Wow, your
you're
spot.
on a roll, Harmon.
Yeah, but your spot hidden is banging.
By the skin of your teeth, you got it.
Oh yeah, you
I
81 and
still.
81. Oh my gosh, yeah. Okay, so it's just barely as the concierge is leaving, you sort of, are curious about the man in the corner again, this archaeologist, and you catch him staring directly at you as the concierge leaves. Almost a little wistfully.
I will give him a nod and go back to my drink.
Okay, he nods back.
Make sure so that he knows I clocked him.
All right, Rosie, you're clocking all of this, right? As
Yeah.
Carl is going on about, and this person here, they're on the same pair of underwear, day 6. This.
Luckily,
Man,
that
where-
one's not, because they pooped their pants. 7 days.
That one over there, that officer, he's wearing 2 left socks.
That's why.
You're very, very perceptive. One of the people I've noticed is that man over in the corner there, partly because, the coloring, it looks like he's got a bit of a problem with alcohol. Maybe he also looks like he maybe has been out and about at a dig site. Look, his outfit is very similar to Harmon.
As you're talking, you see him and Harmon share a look as you're saying that.
He's watching.
And
You want to know what I think?
What?
He's on his 5th marriage at this point.
Maybe that's why he looks so despondent.
Just like, not even like the bottom of the barrel for him. Doesn't seem like to be a charmer, if you ask me.
Right. I wonder though if, and this sounds like a terrible thing to do, but if we would go over and just be friendly and offer to buy a drink, if he might share a little bit about what he's been up to, or give us a little of the a lay of the land, the area. There's a desperation in him.
Well, Miss Rosie, I'll definitely accompany you over, but just warning you, I've never been friendly in my entire life. People have a knack for getting pissed at me for almost anything I do.
Yes, I'm not very charming
Like when you
myself.
stab
So,
them.
so I'm
Stab
sure.
them, shoot them, shove them off a train.
Nice.
I don't know. You're my friend, Carl. So
Boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew.
of course I'm a bit odd myself. Maybe that's why we get on so well.
I mean, you said it.
All right. So I'll go over to the man.
As you get up to walk over to the man, he gets up and approaches Oliver.
Oh, okay.
So,
Well, then I guess I'm not doing that.
well, I mean,
No, I'm not gonna go by Oliver. I'm trying to be separate from him. So if he's going to Oliver, I'll just do an awkward circle of the room and then return back to where I was sitting.
Gotcha. So as you get up, you see him get up and approach Oliver. You do this sort of like, are you gonna maybe even? I don't have a picture of the bar, so I just want to know: would you be walking by Colt at all?
I don't think so. I'm intentionally
Really
staying
trying-
away from the
right.
two people
You
that
only want
I
to
know.
you only want to
Right.
be seen with one of them,
Yes.
and that's going
so
to be
I
Kurt.
think I get up
Or
if he gets up and starts
Carl.
moving. I will well, I don't want to just sit right back down, so I'll just kind of wander, pretend to look out a window, and
Okay.
then just come back, or like
Okay.
something really stupid, like maybe, oh, this is a real fern, yes, or whatever. I
This
don't
is
know.
a real fern.
In fairness, Holt also walked across the room as well, and he plans to loop Daisy in very quickly, so the timing might work out to
All right, I'm gonna
grab her.
Okay.
I'm gonna come into that in a second. As you nodded at this man and Oliver, and then turned back to your drink, and then maybe just a half a minute later, you get a sort of a clearing of a throat behind you, and you turn around, and it's this man. He's probably 5'6", 5'7", and
So normal height.
normal height. Yes, 5'6", 5'7", sort of a scruffy beard, and but not it's patchy, and
Really sized human.
and he extends a hand and he says, "Hello, I am Jan William. Jan William Van. I'm not gonna say this right. Jan William Van Hoevelen. And you pick up very, very quickly. He is Dutch.
Pleasure to meet you. Oliver Martin.
Oliver Martin, forgive me, but you have the look of an academic about you.
Well spotted. Got it in one. Wheaton College, Illinois.
No, I would be lying if I said I'd heard of it, but
Fair enough.
there are many, many colleges in your United States. It's hard to keep track. I am actually not attached with the university, but I am a archaeologist. I have been working on a project here. I wonder if I could. I find that the funding for my dig has. How do you say it in your American English? Is dried up.
That's it. I certainly know how that goes. I'd be thrilled to hear about it. I'm an archaeologist myself.
May I join you?
Certainly. Have a seat.
He sits next to you, and he's got the same glass of whiskey. It's down to a third, and he says, "I'd buy you a drink, but I find myself short on cash, unfortunately."
Well, dried up as it were.
Yes, I am. Particularly, I'm a little concerned. I find myself marooned here in Egypt, as it were.
That would be problematic.
Yes.
It's a long walk back to Denmark?
No. I am from Amsterdam.
Holland. Right.
Yes. Wait, I want to make sure I'm not lying to you there. I'm pretty sure he's.
It sounds Dutch to me.
Yeah.
I was
The
intentionally
Netherlands?
wrong. I was intentionally
Yeah,
wrong.
he's the Netherlands. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Amsterdam, the Netherlands. Yep, that's where he's from. Okay. Okay. So, if I may ask, what brings you here to Egypt? The
Well,
same
I'm-
riches as Carter looked for, and all of us who follow in his great footsteps are seeking, huh?
Something like that, yes. I'm on a bit of a sabbatical, looking for a little bit of field experience, and thought, well, haven't really looked into a whole lot of Egyptian history, and so I did a bit of research, did a bit of looking, and thought, well, what better way to learn more?
If I may ask, I mean, you surprise me. It seems like every archaeologist is an Egyptologist now. What is your area of study?
Oh, I focus primarily on the Akkadian civilization, a bit to the west.
Yes.
I'm sorry, east.
East, yeah.
From here.
I am familiar. Yeah, I have found myself. I started out interested in all of the Mesopotamian cultures, and well, all the funding takes us to Egypt, right?
Yes, well, it's what brings in the tourists.
Indeed. But I am certain there is something here relating to Bast.
I'm not familiar with that.
You would be, unless you're playing off that you wouldn't be. I will just say that you would know Bast is the Egyptian cat goddess.
Oh, okay.
But
Well, and I do have a decent amount of Egyptology, so yeah, I know.
I think even just being
I do.
yeah, but I think your character would know that,
Yeah.
being a Middle Eastern scholar, and so you would not be caught unaware at all.
Yeah,
But,
I mean, certainly it stands to reason.
yes, all of this seeking of things tied to Ra and, of course, his avatar on Earth, Tutankhamun, and all of those wondrous finds from the last 4 years. I find my research into the Bastian culture, the Bastian cults, has been neglected. But I believe there's more going on here. I believe there's many things going on here.
Oh, I'd be intrigued to hear about it. Perhaps I can freshen up that drink for you.
You seem to be picking up what I'm laying down.
Rather one-dimensional, isn't it?
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, I'm going to step away from that conversation, move over to Rosie is making a loop, and as she's making a loop, I heard that Colt was going to be making a little bit of a loop away from the men and might intercept Rosie as she's walking.
So my goal was to head directly over to the journalist
Oh, okay.
and the captain.
You may not. In my mind, I don't care. We're playing theater of the mind. If you
Oh,
think
that's fine.
if you think you could run into her, that's fine. We'll have that happen.
It's more after. It would happen after I sat down with them. That was hoping she was nearby.
It doesn't matter to me.
It'll just be more awkward this way. So
How do you guys want to play it? Do you want to play it that you could run into each other before you get there? That's fine.
no. For me, it was more important after.
Okay.
I was gonna put her on this. So
Okay.
sorry.
So because in my mind I have like this long bar here and then this little sort of jiggity jag off to the side where you're heading. But it doesn't matter. It's theater of the mind. So
Yeah, I would say it would be unlikely then, because again, Rosie Daisy was trying to kind of stay away from
Yeah.
them. So unless he was intentionally seeking me out, I wouldn't seek him out.
got it. So I'm gonna move over to Colt approaching this table.
And I walk up and I look at the captain and I'm like, Captain, are those boys your men?
As you walk up to the table and say, "Are those boys your men?" Give me a spot hidden check.
Sorry.
No
Was
worries.
not expecting that.
Take your time.
Spot hidden.
I almost want to put bar music on for here.
Nope.
Nope. Okay. You just see them sort of startle a little bit as you approach and say, "Captain." And I'm sorry. Are they misbehaving, sir?
They certainly are. I would stop them right now if I could, but I think you're in the better position to do that before they go out and pull those shenanigans they just talked to me about.
So, I don't like that deception falls under acting in this game. I think it's a charm thing. I think so.
Well,
I'm gonna give you a charm
Pretty-
check on the
Pretty is
deception.
not gonna complain about that one.
You're sticking mom on the officers.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because I want to talk to the journalist.
Okay, so he gets up. Well, God and Queen, and he just gets up and walks over, rushing past you. They're talking about their own ne'er-do-well sexual antics again, and then he walks away. And the man looks up. Oh, an American, are you?
I sit down at the bar and I say, "Sir."
He's not at the bar. He's in a booth. Sorry,
I'm
I
sorry,
should
at
make
the
that.
table. Sorry, that's what.
Yeah.
At the table. I say, "Sir, I'm going to call myself Colt, but my real name is Purdy. And I have a bunch of friends here who really need to talk to you.
Okay.
Is there any chance we can meet you? You know a place nearby that we can meet you in an hour?"
Well,
I promise it's worth your time.
yes, I understand that, but I also that sounds like the setup for a robbery.
No, I will. I hand him my wallet. I was like, reverse robbery. If I don't show up, you got my wallet.
I have to say I'm intrigued. And he takes your wallet. And he puts it in his pocket and he says, "I will keep this as collateral, but I will not show up unless I have some idea of the nature of the story."
We are here, and I sort of say, I have 5 words for you.
Okay.
Already can't think of these. Corey can't think of these. Penhue Foundation, Carlisle Expedition, Karasiri,
That's 5.
Vampires Named Clyde, and
Sir, you're up to
and-
11 at my count.
what was oh, yeah.
Might have been 10 actually.
I ain't a mathematician.
I didn't learn my numbers good, so
I'm sorry, did you say Penhue Foundation?
I did say the Penhue Foundation. That's why we're here. But we really need to talk to you outside. And just to be clear, tell us where to be. And if I
will
am
meet
not
you.
there, so
I'm going to amend the deal. I will
What?
meet you in 2 hours' time at the offices
Okay.
of the Cairo Bulletin,
all right.
and he will
If I'm not
actually.
there, don't worry. Someone will be coming asking for my wallet under the name Purdy.
This is now starting to sound like a kidnapping attempt.
No,
Is
I
it all
promise.
right if I bring my friend the captain? He's a trusted person.
Yeah, he might be dealing with his subordinates though for a bit.
He looks over, and they're all now drinking and laughing.
Oh no, don't you worry. I'll make anyway. Yeah. I don't have a problem. Boom.
I have your wallet, sir. I will see you in 2 hours' time at the Cairo Bulletin.
All right. Thank you, sir. I shake his hand,
Shakes your
and
hand.
I'm like, and he's the one who was very comfortable, right?
Yeah, he looks very comfortable.
You have the smoothest hands I've ever felt on a man. Welcome.
I've worked very hard to maintain that.
And I walk off, and I give everyone a wink, and I leave the bar.
You just walk out of the bar? All right.
Oh, I
Winking
probably,
at all of us?
I probably grab 2 drinks, and I walk out of the bar.
Okay.
And I'm probably just sitting outside in case they don't
Like in the lobby?
leave fast, so I can walk back in and get 2 more drinks and sit outside the bar. So
Okay. So you're in the lobby nursing a drink.
I wouldn't say
Nursing.
nursing is a very strong word.
Okay.
Purdy.
Drinking.
Purdy's in the lobby pounding 2 drinks.
You know what's better than 1 drink? 2 drinks. All right.
But I already got 3.
Yeah.
And it's just still 2 drinks.
But I would have tried to catch all 3 of theirs attention if they hadn't noticed that I just did something super weird by ping-ponging across the bar twice.
Awesome.
Honestly, I've seen you in a bar before. None of that was weird.
It's kind of true. Oh.
Every time I go back in for 2 more drinks, I give them all the eye.
The only thing strange is that Purdy just left a bar.
All right, I'm going to check in with Carl. What is Carl doing? Because you watch Rosie make a loop, and then she returns to you. What do you do while she's making the loop?
An officer over there, I bet he's never touched a woman. Ever. No,
What are you telling
no
me
relationship.
now?
You see yourself? Or did you wait till I got back?
It'd be
I
awesome
assume
if you
Rosie
didn't
was-
notice her leaving, and you're like,
Hey. That guy over there, never made any contact with a woman. And it's just some random guy who's nice to me at the bar. Because I totally forgot that Rosie was gone.
and then Rosie sits down next to you after you say that.
On the other side, though.
On the other side.
So you're still talking to this random stranger.
Good news, Carl. The ferns are real.
What the fuck are you talking about?
I don't know. The man got up as I started to walk, so I had to do something.
What man?
The one that went.
She did point it out to you. She pointed out the man she was going to go talk to.
Yeah.
Distracted.
The man on his 5th divorce?
Yes, that one. He apparently is now talking to Oliver, so we'll see. Maybe Oliver will get something out of him.
Well, if you need me, I'll just be right here talking to my new pal.
Oh, hello. Nice to meet you. I say to the man that is on the other side.
I'm sorry, that man over there is, that you said has never touched a woman. He is known throughout. He has many, many, many diseases, and has given them to many, many women. I'm sorry, you're not very good at this game.
Well, they won't touch women anymore if they know about that. So, maybe you're reading the future, Carl.
That could be.
The last time I tried to look into something, bad things happen, so let's not go that far.
We don't want to lose another psychic, do we?
All right. All right. So going back to Oliver and Mr. Van Hoevelen. He
They changed it to Van Halen at Ellis Island.
They did. Yeah, his son rocks. Or no, his grandson. Could be his son. Anyway, so he like slams that whiskey that you freshen up, and then actually gets a water, and he says,
I'm kind of doing to him what the Penny Foundation did to me. I'm testing him on his archaeological knowledge to see if he actually knows anything at all.
Okay, so we don't need to RP this out, but you're asking him to, and he's a legit, to your mind, he's passing.
Okay.
It is clear to you after a little bit that he's a drunk. That was probably already clear to begin with, but that his career has been hampered potentially by alcohol. But he knows his stuff. He wouldn't necessarily be called brilliant, but definitely, in the field, doing the work, knows what's going on. And as the conversation, if you buy him another drink, he will continue to drink, and he'll continue to talk. So he'll keep kind of looking at your drink and then looking at his drink whenever it gets empty.
Yeah, I imagine mine doesn't get empty nearly as often.
No.
But I will buy him another drink, and we'll listen to his theories, what he's talking about. But I also want to ask him his experience in finding a drogaman who might be able to help us out for an extended period of time.
Okay, well, here's the problem. The Clive expedition has managed to hire a lot of the ones that would work with the English speakers, at least for the next week or so. Fuckers. And he'll take another swig, but... So, you might find the reputable ones, or... I am a kind of... they're difficult to find.
Right. Well, I imagine many things are at the moment.
Well, when you have the money, of the Pannier Foundation, you can afford a lot of things.
Is that who's hired them all?
That's
That who's backing the Clive expedition?
Funding the Clive expedition, yes.
And Clive then is their lead archaeologist?
Yes. Doctor, hold on, I have to look it up. Clive.
Hell of a name.
Yes.
It's a very shitty name.
That's his nickname. Hell of a thing I have to look up.
My friend Carl has some theories about him.
He's pooped his pants a lot. Dr. Henry, this should not be hard for me to remember, Clive.
Let's call him Clyde at this point.
What are they looking into? They're not after Bast, I assume. Otherwise, they'd be interested in your expertise.
So, right. Here's the thing. I got hired by the Clive expedition. And I was working with them, but we found this... It was the damnedest thing, actually. It was a female mummy. I don't know much about it, but in any case, there were all kinds of hidden sort of cover-ups, I guess you would say. Wow, that sounds awful now that you're all laughing. But basically...
It's Kogo. Kogo's at it again.
I think the basic thing I'm trying to convey is he started getting worried about disappearances. And in fact, he's fairly convinced that this mummy that was found was never recorded as a find and was secreted away, and that it will not be claimed. And he just sort of, oh, I think I might have said too much.
Well, that's a hell of a thing. It's quite an accusation.
He looks around to the left and to the right, or the other way from me. And yes. But there is so much more to that they just, well, in any case, I raised a couple questions. They didn't like my questions, and I was fired.
Right. Hence them being marooned in Cairo.
Yes. And as you say marooned in Cairo, a black cat jumps out from behind the bar and lands right on the bar top in front of you. And it hisses at Van Hoyven. Van Hoyvel. No, Van Hoyvelen. I was going to get there eventually. And he startles and sort of screams. And the whole bar just looks up, and the bartender goes and picks up the cat and puts it back down behind the bar. Sorry, the bar cat keeps out, troublesome pests. And Van Hoyvelen, well, I'm terribly sorry. It was very nice to make your acquaintance, Dr. Alibaba. I'm afraid I must be going.
Well, yes. Pleasure for the company.
Yes, thank you very much. And he he boot scoots past outside the gate, and you notice the cat follows after him. Not the gate, the doorway out of the bar. And as he crosses into the lobby, Purdy, you see this sort of drunken, stagger run of this man who you saw talking to Oliver / Harmon, and a cat is sort of sauntering after him, just sort of doing the little boundy, keeping up with him, but not chasing him as he leaves.
Waiting for him to die so we can eat him.
Yes, we'll do that. Vicious little beasts.
So let's see, where have I left everybody? You have just been abandoned by your friend, who just ran off. Not your friend, but your new acquaintance. Purdy spoke with Nigel and then left, and is is out in the lobby drinking some whiskeys. And the two of you are sort of watching around the bar. You have clocked most of these things occurring. Anything you guys want to be doing?
I mean, I guess I had kind of gotten a glimpse of the man that was talking to Oliver. Once Purdy leaves, I think I'd kind of watch to see what the two in the other corner, the captain had left, but did he go back to the other man? Just kind of watching
the captain,
them and getting a sense of them.
You see the captain laughing and then giving sort of a paternal addressing to his junior officers, and then he buys them around, which is probably the worst thing he can do, and then walks back and sits down with the middle class, upper middle class looking dapperly dressed man in the corner. They have a brief...
And I don't know who they are, but I know Purdy seemed interested, so I'm just going to kind of keep an eye on them to see if I notice anything interesting.
How long do you guys want to hang out?
I'll sit there and have a drink and watch. I don't know where we're
we don't know about the 2-hour thing.
So
you don't either. So another drink, about a drink, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. They both get up and leave together. The captain stops, gives some brief instructions, it sounds like, to his junior officer, and then the two of them leave together. I would assume that within that 15 to 20 minutes that has elapsed, that Purdy has consumed both of his drinks.
And every time I come back in, I'm giving you all the eyes.
Yeah. Okay.
Is it just a friendly, or are you trying to get us to follow you? I guess when you said you winked, I didn't know if that was just like a hey guys, but are you trying to get us to follow you?
Is he trying to flirt with me?
I think the general idea is I was only seen in the bar with the professor. I'm trying not to include the rest of you in that. And the professor was talking to someone when I left. I wasn't gonna reintroduce myself. So I don't know. I don't know if I was trying to get your attention, not necessarily to follow, but just to note that I had left.
Okay.
So when after my conversation, I will follow Purdy out because I don't really talk to people.
Fair.
And once outside, I was like, "Hey, I set you out that Nigel guy. Like, I set you guys up a meeting with him in like, I guess it's an hour and a half now. He has my wallet, so just ask for Purdy's wallet, not Colt's. Purdy's wallet, and he'll know I sent you.
We did tell you about the names, right?
Yeah, but like, I needed to make sure he trusted me right away. So, I did something stupid, but it was just me. I wasn't going to hang out with you after I did that stupid thing.
Well, yeah, it may be stupid. He doesn't have any reason to know necessarily anything at all. Did you just see the drunk man come out?
Yeah. There was yeah.
Well, yeah. He's got a bit of a beef with the Penhew Foundation, as it turns out.
Oh, those guys. Yeah. Huh.
They're everywhere.
They sure are.
Pissing people off left and right.
And I'll mention that the officers, that was what they picked up on when I said Penhew Foundation. They pushed me over to the other side of the bar, and that's, I'll mention that.
Well, I suppose meeting with him will be helpful then.
But I knew you guys wanted to meet with him, so I'm not sure how secret we should be that we're all together here, but I just wanted to leave the option open.
Well, if that Dutchman who just left ends up dead tomorrow, my bet's on the cat.
I saw that cat.
He has some theories about the cat goddess, and well, that cat didn't like them.
Well, do you ever think that some of the people you work with are kind of weird?
Yes.
Okay, I'm just making sure you're like you and I.
No, academics are a strange lot. I can tell you that.
Because I'm never really sure if you're like one of the normal ones or you're just kind of.
No, it's really just that I'm so pent up that I don't let it all any out.
Well, what were our colleagues up to?
Well, I don't know. I thought we were keeping separate.
Okay.
They were. Carl was last I saw pointing around the bar. I don't know what he was talking about. He was pointing at everyone.
He's probably you know Carl.
Probably hunting.
No, he probably just
his next meal.
Pretending he knows a lot of stuff. He's probably picking out his next fatsicle.
Yeah, that's what I meant. Next meal. Sorry, a bit clever, I guess.
Sorry, now I get it. Should we hide from him?
I don't see that. I said yes, we should.
All right, go ahead, make stealth checks.
Good luck.
Well, Carl, the men that I was watching left, and I didn't notice anything in particular about them. I feel we've had a very productive time drinking at the bar, gathering absolutely no information. Let's hope our friends have done better.
Listen, I spent almost 3 fucking weeks reading through blueprints on self-guided pieces of whatever you call it.
Mm-hmm.
This is my break.
This is what?
This
is my break.
Oh, so are you wanting to stay longer then?
I mean, as I said before, if you need me, you need me.
Well, I'm just thinking maybe we should see if our friends, got any more information than we did. I mean, your astute observation of human nature is remarkable, but maybe they, in their conversations, got some information to confirm what you already suspect.
I'm sure they don't, because as I know, I'm 100% right about most of these things, but Purdy's hogging all the drinks at this point. Might as well go up.
Right. Well, let's see if we can find them.
Okay, you guys walk outside, and Harmon is standing clearly behind a potted plant.
Harmon, what are you doing behind the phone?
They're real. They're real.
They are, aren't they? Isn't that? It's so nice to
It's really
see.
what I expected. The 1920s. There's not a lot of plastic plants.
I know, right? That's what makes the comment so ridiculous.
But you don't immediately see Purdy unless you look for him. So,
Purdy has charmed a bellhop out of his outfit and is dressed as Bell.
nice. If you make a spot hidden check, that is more than regular difficulty. You will find
No, he
him.
would reveal himself.
I'm gonna see if I can notice. Nope, I don't notice.
Oh, Clyde sees you before you reveal yourself. He sees you over, trying to get the uniform off of a bellhop.
Why is he bothering that lobby boy?
Oh, wow! I never would have noticed. But you know how different people look.
Why is that lobby boy naked in the middle of the water?
Anyway.
Yeah, and so Purdy would explain the whole situation and like really defer to their judgment about whether we should all go but he does ask someone to get his wallet back.
Oh, the only reason I didn't go down with you and tried to pretend to be like I wanted to be able to observe without them realizing.
No, I
was
totally
observing,
understand.
right? Yes, it wasn't.
Yeah, it totally makes
I didn't
sense.
want to be around you.
And I didn't want to reveal you.
There wasn't much to observe, but I did notice that one man that looked rather desperate. I was going to go and talk with him, but he seemed more interested in you, Oliver.
Yes, well, he's on his way to be murdered by a cat.
Oh,
I don't really think that.
that what he told you?
No, that's just my that's my sort of fantastical interpretation of what happened as he left the bar.
Interesting.
You know what? Maybe I'll tell you a little bit more about him when we're not out in the open.
Right. That was the only person that I know got any sort of a vibe off of.
Did he mention anything about his wives?
No, that didn't come up.
Cats have 9 lives.
Multiple.
Maybe you were just picking up on the 9 lives, 5 wives. It rhymes. Maybe it was a psychic, cross of the wires.
I'm certainly losing track of this thread.
Anywho, who's getting this guy's wallet back?
We should probably find out where the Cairo Bulletin offices are.
Hey, I'm happy to go meet the man. Hopefully it's not too difficult to find, as we don't meet our drogoman until the morning. I did hire one, by the way. Just for the first half of the day, though. So we'll need to figure something else out after that. Apparently, they've all been hired by the Penhew Foundation.
They're everywhere. I would like to go to the Bulletin as well. I've been taking notes and kind of pretending to be a bit of a journalist myself.
Well, I'm sure that they love that sort of thing.
I don't know. I feel like the one journalist whose name I'm blanking on, he wrote some very scandalous kind of outlandish things.
Roman Kingston?
Martin, oh gosh.
I could look in the book, but
Yeah.
Daisy says the name.
Yep.
I'm not gonna.
Yeah, it's all right. There's so many
We probably aren't
characters.
gonna run into him again.
The
Yeah.
Irishman.
The Irish guy, Mahoney.
Yeah. Mahoney. Yeah.
Mickey Mahoney?
Mickey Mahoney. That's it.
But this might be a bit different if this is more of a reputable.
We don't really have any way of knowing, do we?
Not yet.
They must be doing well. He looked well put together.
I mean, he also he really did he was worried this was a trap, so he's a little bit of a serious fella.
I wonder who would just
He thought I was either going to rob him or kidnap him.
Well, you do have
That's why I had to give him my wallet.
an appearance it can be a little offsetting.
You gave him your wallet to assure him that you weren't robbing him.
Exactly.
Purdy, what do you have? $7 in your wallet?
9. And $9. I also have my Future Farmers of America card, which is very dear to me,
Right.
as well as all of your names, your secret names written down. I can't
You don't
remember
forget.
those things, and I have to refer to them often.
You know, I know you're lying, Purdy, because I've never seen you write anything down.
Yeah. Just more of a picture I draw of you.
You've drawn pictures of us.
The real me, and not my alter ego.
Clyde has fangs.
I have what?
Wood.
Daisy's a flower.
I stayed a flower.
Now I'm picturing just like stick figures, one with fangs,
Yeah,
just
it's almost like
plans
you
for another with a smiley
recently-
face.
It helps me remember who you are.
Who would have thought the horror game would be the silliest game we play?
Right. Well, I guess I
It
imagine
works.
we'd better find out where this newspaper is.
It
Hey, no
doesn't.
problem. Let me go ask my friend Barhop. I probably can trade him his clothes back in order to to get him to get us over there. Don't ask.
Probably would like his clothes back.
Between the bar hop and
It's cold at night.
him directing you to the concierge who gives you accurate directions, you are able to ascertain where the Cairo Bulletin offices are, and upon arrival, unless there's anything else you guys want to do,
Are all 4 of us going?
that's up to you.
I said I wanted to.
Yeah, I'm going.
Yeah, it's totally up to you guys. Like I'm glad to go. I was just leaving open the possibility that I did not,
Oh no.
if it was a smaller group.
And is Carl going?
Carl's going to go if we're all going because we have to have a buddy, right, Carl? You're not going to stay by yourself?
I think he's hungry though.
I haven't eaten today. It's been a very liquid diet.
Isn't your diet always rather...
You can't be fucking serious.
I'm
You
sorry,
too?
no, sorry, I wasn't going to say... I'm sorry. I'm on your side, Carl. I really am.
Except for
Let's just go. Let's just go to the bulletin.
Carl's disappointed.
We only tease because we like you, Carl.
Chupacabra means sucker, but I don't know the word for fat.
You guys.
Chupalarda?
Chupalarda. Larda Lupra. You guys make it to the Cairo Bulletin, and it's a modest building. It's very well kept, but it's not a huge building. It is done in European styling, and so it doesn't. It's something about the like if Nigel were in today's era, he'd be wearing a popped collar polo shirt. I mean, I don't know if people are doing that, but if he were around 15 years ago, he'd be wearing a popped collar polo shirt, perhaps with another polo shirt over it. There's definitely this sort of air of jet setty. This is a person who is international and also of means and knows what the current trends are at the power centers of the world, which at this time is England. And it is sort of a broadsheet type paper that takes itself seriously. And so when you walk in the offices, there's just the one light on. He greets you at the door, and the captain is there, and he introduces Captain Walter Saville as the British officer who Purdy had talked to about his men. and Walter is drinking a gin and tonic with a lime on it, with his feet up on Nigel's desk as you are brought into the room, and he says, well, you have our interest, and I have your wallet, and I'd be interested to know more about any story you might have.
Can I have my wallet back first?
Sure.
There was $9 in it. It's not going to get you very far, but
No, indeed. And he hands you the wallet back.
I make sure everything's there.
I'm gonna say, do you count it like right there?
It's probably
One,
a giant cold.
3.
It's all there. So, what is it you wish to speak to me about? What story do you have that would be of interest to the Cairo Bulletin?
I'm going to let these folks do the talking. I'm just sort of the action man.
Understood.
And I look longingly at the gin and tonic in the guy's hands until
He notices and looks over at Nigel, and Nigel just shrugs, and he pours a gin and tonic for you, and then he offers to everybody else in the room.
No, I think I've had enough.
Okay. Very well. And the officer looks a little bit irritated because clearly he would prefer to be back at the bar. But he's here protecting his friend, so. So, do you have some questions regarding the Penhew Foundation, or?
I understand that they're funding the Clive expedition currently.
This is where I need to do a little bit of side reading here. Yes, they are funding the Clive expedition, which is he glances over at the captain, and he just sort of shrugs and just, there's some rumors dogging them about a mummy they discovered. And
That would be the one that the female mummy that didn't get recorded properly.
if that indeed occurred, yes, there's
Well,
some
I have no insight into whether or not it did, but that's the rumor I heard as well.
Oh, yes, sorry to interrupt, but about how long ago was that mummy discovered?
and he sort of goes back into his notes, and he's flipping back through like a notebook. Seems to me like it was almost a month ago now.
I'm seeming to remember when our friend here wanted to work. Wasn't that a big thing that Purdy, like, this isn't Daisy talking, but what that Purdy wanted to do was see the mummy in the basement at the Penhew Foundation?
Yes.
There was a mummy delivery? Okay,
Yes.
all right.
That would not be likely.
That's why I asked about the time frame.
As he says, 4 weeks. That crosses that out as a possibility for you.
Okay.
There is the possibility, and I can't remember, that the Clive expedition may have come up as a funded expedition while studying was going on in the Penhew Foundation. That was one of the ones that was currently funded. I think he might have mentioned it in passing. Like, we're currently funding this and that and this, and currently there's an expedition led by Henry Clive and the Egypt, blah, blah.
I have no memory of that. But...
Yeah, I don't know that I actually dropped it, but because there's a note on his desk you might have seen had you gotten a spot hidden about the Clive Foundation or the Clive expedition on his desk. So I'm just going to say, with all the time that Purdy worked there and you're studying in there, that it might have entered your memory there too. I'm going to retcon it.
I worked like 3 shifts.
Did you? It was only 3 before you got fired? I thought it was a full week. I thought it was a full week.
He didn't get fired. He quit.
He quit. Yeah. But I thought like, because I thought that Clyde was up in Derby for a week, reconning the Henson manufacturing, and I thought you worked there for a full week.
Murdering happened in like 12 hours, basically.
And then I think you guys murdered everybody and you would have quit. But
Yeah, but you insisted on turning in a letter and everything.
Oh yeah, there was a whole letter.
You quit.
Yeah.
My work ethic is beyond reproach.
we tried really hard to convince you to send a letter, and you wouldn't do it. You had to go there and tell us.
That's right.
Right?
Yeah, I remember that now. Yep, for sure.
And then they really try to press you more on your odd stuff too.
Okay, so the Clive Foundation, they did find this likely queen, and there is some speculation about who it might be, but since it's all rumors and wheretofores, and the word on the street is that the mummy had been stolen in the night from the Penhew Foundation. So you get a distinct impression as the conversation goes on as far as the identity of this mummy and the Penhew Foundation. You get the following information. I'm not going to RP it all out. The first is that there is some speculation that this is Queen Nitocris. Put it in the chat. I want to make sure I'm spelling that right. Talking to so-and-so. There we go. Yeah, Nitocris.
No. According to Herodotus, her brother was murdered. She invited the murderers to a banquet, locked them in a room, and then flooded the room with the Nile.
Well, that's one way to do it, huh?
Yeah.
Use what you got.
No cats involved. I expected there to be cats involved in the story.
I know. So did I.
So the more that he's willing to talk, and he's actually seems to be happy to share information, but you also get the sense that he's starting to wonder. He starts to share. I'll give this bit, and then he's going to start going in. This is as much as I'm comfortable sharing without knowing what exactly it is you're looking for. So he will share that there are rumors that this mummified queen is Queen Nitocris, who would have been a part of the 6th dynasty, and lots of the accoutrement of her crypt was also missing recently. All of this is hush hush. He has not published anything about this because he is aware that the Penhew Foundation might get a black eye for the missing information. But he is very curious to find out more about it without putting himself too much in harm's way. And so as he says this, just like, and my friend, the servant of the crown here, and I are both very interested to know what your angle is in all of this.
Well, I have a suspicion that the Penhew Foundation's black eye might run a bit deeper.
Indeed.
It wouldn't surprise me in the least from the bits that I've heard and understand that they do have a bit of a tendency of absconding with relics and things.
And the British officer, well, that's quite an accusation. Do you have any proof?
Nothing tangible. I've seen things, but didn't take them with me.
You would
And-
remember that Clyde did take notes on their smuggle operation they're doing with artifacts, on some of the items they were taking, because they realized they were not properly documented.
That's right.
Yes,
You did.
They are keeping separate ledgers for the items that are on the manifest and those that are not.
Sorry, I missed some of that because my headphones are dying.
I said that we do know that they were keeping separate manifests of those items on their ships, and or the ones that are reflected on their proper manifest and the ones that are not.
The captain's going to look concerned, and you're getting the sense that, you know, he's talking to 3 Yanks and 1 subject of the crown, who are talking about basically smuggling and potentially even violating several international treaties, particularly as Egypt has recently negotiated its own quasi-independence from the crown. So he's looking, he just say, so if I go looking for these things, but I don't, let's be honest, we're all not dealing with, I mean, I'm dealing with a real name, but we're all not dealing with real names here.
Well, that's because of, people trying to kill us and everything.
I told you my real name, or I didn't tell you. I told him. He had my wallet.
Yeah. Yes, I understand that. I'm looking for somebody to convince him that, that he should take a risk by tipping off somebody in the government to go looking into this more.
Well, whether you tip them off or not, I was just offering information in exchange for yours. I thought that was the free exchange of words here.
Wow,
Exactly. We're not trying to convince you to do anything with that information. We just asked.
Well, I mean, there's the newspaper man's interest in a story, and then there's the servant of the crown's interest in potentially international law being broken.
Mm-hmm.
So the newspaper man is just sort of Nigel is sort of fascinated by the story and is writing down notes, whereas the captain is wondering if he has some due diligence he needs to be doing now.
Hey, can I ask you, like, if in your due diligence and things like that, would you be able to, like, I don't know, maybe say, like, stop the Penhew Foundation from doing business here?
Well, certainly if we found evidence of malfeasance.
And what you need from us in order to investigate that malfeasance and look for evidence is some sort of proof that the general story we're telling and why we're here is the God's honest truth.
Certainly would help. Yes, that would help us out a tremendous amount getting there.
Stand up.
Do you have a counterpart in Hong Kong that you can communicate with by wire or in some manner?
I do not know who that would be off the top of my head, but certainly there is someone like that. Yes.
There's a ship that would have arrived in Hong Kong, or will be soon, that could corroborate a number of these stories. If you wanted to take a peek, I would consider it something of a anonymous tip.
And if it would help, he'll pull out his notebook that he had recorded some of the ledgers in. You managed to find that in some sort of Penhew facility. You need to hear from me.
Ask after the Honorable Ho Fang. I believe many of the things we're telling you would be corroborated.
And in Clyde's book, you will also see that the name of the ship is the Ivory Wind, and the captain is Lars Thorvald, and he will write all of this down and be like, well, this is, of course, interesting. I would like everybody to make a psychology check.
I don't know what Purdy was going for. He told me to stand up, but I don't know what for.
Oh, I'm spending 10. I'm spending 6 luck to pass that.
Okay.
Oh, was that a
Close
1-2?
enough, I'm doing it.
All
I
right.
used up all my psychology already tonight, apparently.
Yeah.
Oh, it didn't.
I'm-
It didn't save my increase.
My brain hurts.
Everybody check to see if your luck increase is saved. If those of you who got one.
All good.
Okay.
I didn't have
Mine did not, but
Okay.
added it back and then subtracted from it.
I'm wondering if there's like a click or it won't let you maybe unless there's certain. Okay.
No, mine went up. I just clicked literally on top of it and pressed return.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I didn't hit return. Maybe I
Okay.
typed in a number and then closed it or something.
Okay. Just wondering because sometimes like these forms are a little.
It wants you to authorize it.
They're persnickety with that kind of thing. Okay. So with the expenditure of luck, Harmon becomes aware that every time the captain says an affirmative about being interested in what you're saying, the section of the book that Nigel is making notes in he's right now starting in the margins. I went with psychology because there's a bit of a nervousness that only pops up when the captain makes a note of something. So you're catching a dynamic in between the two of them.
Can you explain that a little bit in a different set of words? Sorry.
Yeah.
So whenever he makes an affirmative.
I probably should have asked for a spot hidden, but what I was checking for is there's just like a
Shit. I didn't
Nigel
check that.
Nigel acts differently, but how does he act differently?
he sort of like is looking for cues from the captain, and when he catches a cue from the captain that something's important, he writes in the margin of the page, and he writes in Arabic instead of in English.
Okay.
So that's what Harmon picks up from their interchange, just a little bit of a tick or maybe a quick brief glance, a furtiveness, inattentiveness to what the captain is saying while he's listening to the stories that's slightly different, like he's paying attention to what the captain is paying attention to.
Right.
Okay. And we are at 10 o'clock Corey time. Are we good to go a little longer, or we want to call it? This is a fairly decent place to call it.
I mean, if we can finish this conversation, if that's appropriate, and that's going to go on for hours.
Yeah, we can wrap this up, and then we'll call it a night with this. So what you learn after gaining a little bit of the trust by sharing all this information about what's heading to Hong Kong is that there is some concern about what's happening with the Clive expedition and the rumors about Queen Nitocris's mummy being lost. The Penhew Foundation is paying to keep it hush-hush. But there is some concern that they themselves have hidden it. And the more it comes out, the more the more you hear about it, the more things start wrapping together. Like you hear about one of their people has been fired for incompetence, drunken, disorderly on the job site. He's a drunk and has been fired, and so there's some thought that perhaps his drunkenness led to.
I do want to clarify if that's Van Heuvelen.
Yes, it is. So when you clarify that, they they believe he might have either looked the other way while drunk, or been bribed, or because he was known to be somewhat sketchy about his tactics.
You know, I'll relate to them what he told me at the bar. and with the understanding that you take it with a grain of salt because he's telling me this at bar and he's a known drunk, but that he said he was concerned that they were hiding it and that he asked the wrong questions and they fired him for that. So just to give them what I heard today.
Okay. And he notes it and understands that. Anything else you guys want to ask them about anything else you know? Yep.
I do. So I know sometimes on sites like this, there's fantastic kind of rumors about curses, things like that. Have there been any curses, rumored about with this female mummy, like people falling ill or, those kind of things?
No. I believe even, the curse of King Tut will eventually... this is Nigel Wasif. He says, no. Science will explain all of this in time. This is...
I am a woman of medicine myself, so I ask not because, I'm looking to believe in such things, but I just was curious
Certainly.
if anything had come out of it.
No, there's no that I'm aware of.
Okay.
There's nothing this time that would tied to the Penhew Foundation this time that would lead anyone to believe that there is some sort of nefarious curse about.
Right, just checking.
That's a fair question given the circumstances.
Hey, who's the head of this Penhew Foundation? Is it Henry himself? Is he here in town?
Of the expedition is Dr. Henry Clive. I don't believe he's in Cairo currently. I believe that he is. I need to look that up. He is, I believe, digging to the southwest of Cairo. I will.
So, is there someone here who is in charge that? If we wanted to go talk to him?
No, you would have to actually go find the expedition.
I understand now. Sorry.
I think they're not too far out. They are, I think, just south of Giza, which is just west of the city. So
the Penhew Foundation doesn't have an office here, do they?
Oh, I'm sorry. They're at Memphis.
Okay.
So quite a bit south. If you look on the map there. Yep. Okay.
Tennessee? Jesus.
Yeah.
Does the Penhew Foundation have? I mean, they're investing so much money. Or any agent here in town?
Not to my knowledge. I believe when they are in need of cash or political assistance that Dr. Clive himself comes into town. But you could definitely check with, and hold on one second, need to look up. You could definitely look into some of their connections with the Egyptian Museum. I believe the last person or the most likely person that they would be talking about would be Dr. Kafur.
Huh?
I
used to be the employee of I used to be a well-regarded employee of the Penhew Foundation myself, so I'll be glad to talk over the museum.
And the fact that you're a well-regarded member of the Penhew Foundation is noted by the captain. Yes, I think that if you would want to find out more about at least what our own Egyptologists are concerned with, Dr. Kafur would be a perfectly good starting place, I think.
Is there any chance we heard the name Dr. Kafur before?
No, you have not heard that name before. I will just say that for clarity's sake. You have not heard that.
No, for some reason the name is familiar. But...
Yeah, nope. New person in the role of the poor guy who got nearly killed in Peru. Dr. Sanchez. But this is a scholar in residence at the Egyptian Museum, and he could perhaps, give you some more information. Any other? I mean, this you've given me lots to think about. There's much to consider whether or not we are yet again being plundered. No offense, dear Captain, by our friends in the British Empire.
Are there any weird murders going on in the city? Going weird.
Well, I tend to discount silly, superstitious things. Nothing. There's quite a bit of unrest, but all of it is explainable by political factions jockeying for power in the quasi-vacuum left by the British, returning us to our own governance, although still a protectorate.
But not like people being sucked dry of their blood or dead in weird rituals.
No. Those are better left for pulp fictionists like Howard and I don't know.
Well, you would be surprised what civilized countries are facing that problem right at this moment.
I will have to take your word for it, sir. But I am not a familiar. And he looks over the captain. Any strange murders and strange goings on, and the captain sort of shrugs and goes, "People killing each other is always sort of weird, and every culture has its own different way of doing it." You get the sense that you're dealing with people who prize rationality to a great deal. These are not what is it like yellow journalists,
Right.
like Mahoney. So, but there is this sense of more going on. I will definitely want to make sure that, especially having spent the luck on it, that you're aware that more is happening here. There is an undercurrent of more information is passing through here than you're being made aware of.
Hey, is there anything we can do for you?
Well, our hands are somewhat tied, both of us, in finding out more about this disappearance of the mummy. And since you seem to be so interested in it, any information that you uncover, I would be happy to pay for information leading to anyone who recovers the body, but gives me the story first. That would be excellent. And in fact, any information you have at all that you learn about nefarious dealings with Egyptian antiquities would be of great interest to me. And of course the captain. The captain is taking a sip of gin and looking kind of distractedly over all of you, sort of focusing on the wall beyond you.
Yeah, I think Daisy would have shut down. Like, I asked the one question, but I don't know. I don't think she would ask any other questions, volunteer any other information.
Okay.
There's just something. There's too many people in the room for her liking.
Sure.
I'm getting that feeling too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you guys return to your hotel?
Yeah.
Okay. I think we'll call it a night with you guys safely returning to your hotel room. And we will pick it up the next morning when you are greeted by your dragoman. His name is Salim Naziz. And I will put that in here too, just so we remember it. And you guys will have the morning to explore. And I think that's where we'll call it for tonight. Thanks everybody for joining us here on Roleplay Give. I do want to do a shout out for the 4 of you sitting here with me. And any bots who might be paying attention at this hour, that we are doing our first charity game tomorrow, hoping to raise money for the National Alliance for Mental Illness. Not for mental illness, but I don't. It says that, doesn't it? Say for mental illness, and I'm like, that doesn't sound good.
It's Alliance for it, though.
It's Alliance
I'm sorry.
against it, but
I'm
it's
only
like it's
half listening to you because I was rolling luck.
Sorry. NAMI is the National Alliance, and then it's like something mental illness, and I'm not sure why it's for. But hey, Bottle of Zen's out there. Thanks, Zen. Sorry. Bottle of Zen's out there saying hello. With some Bob Ross? Is that
It's
Bob?
on National Alliance on Mental Illness.
On mental illness. Okay.
Yeah.
So National Alliance on Mental Illness of Fond du Lac, and they're raising money to for reducing suicidality in our community, which is a great cause. So tomorrow during our Warbler Brothers Candlekeep Mysteries game, you will be able to buy rerolls, buy Wandering Encounters, buy Wild Magic, buy healing potions, buy Revivifies if necessary, but hopefully creating quite a dynamic game for us and raising some money for a great cause. So our first, I guess, give portion of our Roleplay Give channel. So try if you can to come out tomorrow night and help us out. Until then, roll some dice, play some games, and give your time, your treasure to meaningful causes. Have a good night, everybody.